So ever since Donald Trump took the reins of the Republican Party back in 2015, they have been on a slide to insanity. I mean, they were already bad before, but they have gotten progressively worse with people like Marjorie Taylor Greene running around, Lauren Boebert, and the rest of them. It is a complete clown show, but the clown show has had consequences, and they have gotten some wins, primarily Roe v. Wade. And Roe v. Wade, however, has some consequences. Remember, in the midterms, Republicans were projecting a red wave. Didn't happen. Democrats beat them out. And to that disappointment, you also have a Democrat winning in Alabama now. I know it is actually surprising. I know a lot of people are surprised. It is like going to Best Buy and finding something to purchase at that store that is actually the Best Buy, which is absolutely insane. I know. But let's go ahead and get into the article. Let's check it out. So this is in The Guardian, but it's everywhere, really. An Alabama Democrat who campaigned against the state's near total abortion ban has won a special election to the state legislature, a stark signal that reproductive rights is a potent issue for Democratic candidates, even in the Deep South. Maryland Lands won the state House seat on Tuesday, defeating Teddy Powell, a Republican, by 63 to 37%. Lands, a licensed professional counselor, previously ran for the seat in 2022 and lost by 7% to David Cole, a Republican who resigned last year after pleading guilty to voter fraud. The irony. So let's go ahead and continue. In February, there was a highly controversial state Supreme Court decision that threatened the use of IVF. There was a whole debacle. I talked about that, and that was also the disaster interview where Tommy Tuberville talked about how he wants people to start families, and then the reporter embarrassed him when she said, hey, you know, people use IVF to have those families, and now Alabama is going to be a potential, the actions of the Supreme Court will restrict access to, you know, having families. And he was just stun-locked. He was absolutely stun-locked. He couldn't even think of anything to say. It was just absolutely embarrassing. But let's keep going. Lands said she would work to overturn Alabama's abortion law, one of the most stringent in the U.S., which outlaws abortion at any stage of pregnancy, with no exceptions for sexual assault. I don't want to say the R word on YouTube, or incest. It is only permitted in situations where the life of the pregnant person is in danger. Republicans, you know, this is a one-off for Alabama. Don't get too excited here. Republicans holding a commanding 75 to 27 advantage over Democrats in the House in Alabama. But, you know, one of the key points here I want to talk about is that this could be potentially big for other states, because we've seen in multiple states, even when abortion is up to vote, even in red areas, they keep people vote to keep abortion access, because of course they do. Because the idea of banning abortion, especially nationwide, is a no-go. It is deeply unpopular, which I remember when Lindsey Graham from South Carolina came out in accident. I don't know if it was accident or not, but he came out and said that, I don't know if it was leaked or whatever, but he talked about how he wanted to do a nationwide ban, and that got clamped down pretty quickly, because Republicans know that a lot of their policies aren't that popular because they don't actually help anybody. And they either restrict people from rights, or when they do help people, it's normally people at the very top. But let's go ahead and go over to Biden's statement here, because this is from Biden HQ. Let's pull it up. Last month, Alabamans lost access to fertility treatments because of Donald Trump. Tonight, the voters in Alabama's 10th House district elected a pro-choice champion in Maryland Lands, sending Trump and extreme MAGA Republicans a clear message. They know exactly who's to blame for restricting their ability to decide how and when to build their families, and they're ready to fight back. Trump overturned Roe v. Wade, paving the way for attacks on women's freedoms like we saw in Alabama. Now he's running to ban abortion and gut access to IVF nationwide. Tonight's results should serve as a major warning sign for Trump. Voters will not stand for his attacks on reproductive health care. This November will be no different. And this is going to be a major kind of thorn in Republican side because they overturned Roe v. Wade. And this is something that they've been battling for years, before I was born, before many people who are even voting in this election, like especially the youth, you know, way before they were born. And they finally got what they wanted. And now they have nothing really to fearmonger about. Well, they have stuff to fearmonger about, but a lot of it didn't work. We saw them fearmonger about trans people, especially in the midterms. Didn't work. People didn't care. Those people who ran on that, a lot of them lost because you can't really make them, you know, a huge boogeyman. There's like most people don't even know anybody from that community. So it's not that scary, which is why they have to pivot to something like the border crisis. So, yeah, don't get too happy if you're in Alabama like I am, because you won't see a blue wave anytime soon in Alabama. But what this will do, at least, is send a message to people who aren't in Alabama, who are in those purple states, those battleground states, because they might be in trouble because getting rid of Roe v. Wade kind of screws them over. So let me know what you think in the comment section.